Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am your host, Suzanne Monk, host of Trump Talk US. Where have I been? It's a good question. We're just going to turn the music off. Where have I been? It's a good question. We are simulcasting right now on Facebook Live. And, oh, wait. No, now we're going to be simulcasting. Been super busy. Everything has been crazy. We're going to talk about all of that. Welcome back, everybody. But we're starting an all new show. We got the website up. You can go to www.trumptalk.us, blog posts, talking about all of the first week and a half of Donald Trump's presidency. So much good stuff going on, you guys. It's actually making the leftists freak out. Freak out. So, we're going to talk about, oh, you just reminded me, type question and answer. For those of you who haven't been to the show before season 1, we're going to call all of the election Trump Talk season 1. This is season 2, Trump Talk Live. We've made it more exciting. We put an exclamation point at the end of the show. Trump Talk Live. You can say it that way, or you can just say it however you want to say it, which is fine. But we're going to talk about all exactly like Jeb. We want to get a little more high energy. We want to get high energy going. We've got a lot to do to make America great again, and Trump has been very busy. So we're going to talk about a few different segments. We're going to definitely talk about WhiteHouse.gov. Hello, Facebook Live. Hey, Brandy, how you doing? I love how it says, congratulations, this is our most commented video yet because it's our first video. And we got one comment. So, woohoo. WhiteHouse.gov, you guys. What I have been looking into, doing a lot of research on, is WhiteHouse.gov. Now, WhiteHouse.gov is better than it has ever been before. Donald Trump is already making WhiteHouse.gov great again. He's not even making it. He's made WhiteHouse.gov great again. You can go there. You can find all of the press briefings. You can find learn English. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. You should be learning to speak English in all of the American schools so that you can read the Constitution and read the documents that your government is founded on. I'm sorry if you find that xenophobic. I love Hispanic people, but I think that you should be learning English. Now, you know what? You can also just go on any Google site and have it translate. I mean, your browser will translate for you. We don't need 5,000 versions of everything. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, moving on. If you go there, you'll get all the information you need. You'll have to read English or translate with a little app, but you will get all the information. All the press briefings, which is what I was talking about, all the executive orders, all the presidential memorandums, all of the different presidential actions, all of the transcripts of Donald Trump's phone calls with all of the officials that he has been talking to. All of his speeches, all of Sean Spicer's press conferences, all of it. All of it, WhiteHouse.gov. So, we're going to just talk about a few of the things you can find out on WhiteHouse.gov. Harley Davidson, Donald Trump had a great meeting with Harley Davidson. Sean Spicer's press conference actually was really funny because he talked a lot about, if you heard the bikes roll up to the White House, they really kind of made a big sassy deal about Donald Trump and the bikes, which is not surprising because bikers were a huge part of what helped Donald Trump get elected. Spicer is great. He's super awesome. I call it Sugar and Spicer because every day it's like just sweet and spicy. It's just like cinnamon toast. It's like cinnamon toast in the morning. That's what Sean Spicer is to me. He's hilarious. I love his first press conference where he didn't even take any questions. He just yelled at the press and then left. Perfect. So, he also talked about all of the things Donald Trump did just this morning, which was he attended the National Prayer Breakfast. He did a pronouncement for African American History Month. There were senior staff appointments today. All of these things, very busy. And of course, he talked about Rex Tillerson being approved and signed in. So Rex Tillerson, Secretary of State, great news for the energy community. Great news, you guys. Great news for American energy. We could go on all day talking about how important it is for America to utilize the huge, that's a good thing, the huge amount of energy resources we have under our soil. By utilizing that resource, the oil, the natural gas, by utilizing those, the coal, by utilizing those here in America, where we have much greater emission standards, where we have much greater efficiency standards, by utilizing those things here, we actually can create an energy boon in America. That energy boon lowers the cost of manufacturing, all of the things that are making it very expensive for people to manufacture here. One of them is the cost of energy. And the cost of energy coming down is a huge factor in any kind of movement. And there's just no way that you green energy people will ever create enough power. You don't do enough study to understand how energy is actually created. If you did that, you would understand how important fossil fuels are and how critical it is that we as Americans stop depending on all others, on other sorts of oil, that we stop limiting our ability to export oil to our allies and leaving that to Russia, nations like Russia and Iran, which you guys are so mad at Russia, but you want us to let Russia just own the oil market. You don't want us to sell our oil and actually compete with Russia. You want Russia own the oil market. We can't sell oil because wind. It's ridiculous. So Rex Tillerson, I think, is going to be great. And not just because of the oil thing, but because he's actually been somebody who's had to deal with powerful people across the globe. He's not a politician who's trying to get a lot of favors. What does he care? He's going to go back to his normal life, making a lot of money, trading his own stocks and trading various, using his wealth to make money. That's what he does at this point. So he can go back to that at any time. Being a CEO, he can go back to that at any time when he's done. This is not a great political move for him, like it was for John Kerry or Hillary Clinton. So I think we're going to get a lot of stuff done. I'm very excited about that. And of course, we talked about Judge Gorsuch, which everybody thinks is a great pick, and the Democrats are going to fight tooth and nail, and you know it. So we just got to be prepared for that. One of the things we will be looking at as we keep talking, and of course on the website, what to expect from the Democrats who have lost their mind. They have actually lost their mind. And we'll actually talk about how the worst loss of mind this week. We're going to do a little, where is it? Is it here? Leftisr Snowflake Meltdown of the week. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, let's make sure we can see, we can see Donald Trump, because it triggers the snowflakes. There we go. So good. So important. So you guys, I want you to just spend a little time every day going into whitehouse.gov and just reading. Even if you hate Donald Trump, if you all of you little trolls and little haters, go to whitehouse.gov and read, at least actually read the executive orders. Don't just listen to what Rachel Maddow or whoever tells you to think about it, okay? Don't just go on the HuffPo and go, oh my God, Orange Hitler did something, okay? Don't do that. Go to whitehouse.gov. Read what he said for yourself. Then hate. Then at least you're hating on what the man's words actually are and not the media delusion that continues to be festered and fostered by these delusional journalists. They're yellow, horrible journalists, and we all know it. If you can't see it, that they're horrible, biased journalists, I'm not sure how to help you, really. But one way I hope to help you is to suggest to go read the man's actual words at whitehouse.gov. Okay? Whitehouse.gov. It's all there. Whitehouse.gov. It's all slick. It looks real nice. It's got nice, you can watch the inaugural video. You know, if you like that, if maybe you're like, yay, Trump, or if you just like being emotionally triggered over and over. Some people do. They're masochists. What do you want from me? So, we'll just have a first block of the new show. That sounds great. So, let's talk about the MAGA report. We're gonna do several segments. One of the segments, MAGA report. We're gonna talk about how we are making America great again. We're gonna just talk to the trolls a little bit too, because we're making America great again for them. We're making America great again for them. There's an article on the website Trump Talk US about crowd size and why that was an important issue. You can just go read it. We're not going to talk about the day. What we are going to talk about is the buzz and hubbubaloo that has been going on, and I think it's actually great, about Pastor Daryl Scott talking to gang thugs or former gang thugs, and talking about creating a gang summit here in Chicago. So, yeah, I'm going to work on that. Thank you for pointing that out. So, in the 1990s, in 1993, there was several groups that were forming, that were trying to get gangs to reduce gang violence. So, that's what we need to do. There we go. Great. So, they actually got a lot of the different gang leaders together to agree to somewhat of a truce, to a reduction of violence, which actually succeeded in reducing violence across a lot of the cities. I lived in Chicago at the time. I saw how that process went down and its effectiveness. It was a very effective way temporarily to reduce the gang violence. So, what Pastor Daryl Scott suggested that people had spoken to him about was having a similar sort of collaboration with trying to reduce the death rate in urban cities, and perhaps bringing in some social programs, but opening up a dialogue with the pastor, not with Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not going to go talk to gangbangers, you guys. People just think of the craziest things. They just think of the craziest thing. It's ridiculous. Donald Trump is not going to go talk to the gangbangers. Okay, so everyone just shh. Calm down. Okay, Pastor Daryl Scott is going to come to Chicago and talk to some old gang members. Okay, now you can call them former gang members because they don't go out and gangbang. Okay, but if you're old and alive, and willing to talk about being a gang member, you probably at least have some friends still in the gang community that you have influence over. I mean, there's not a lot of old gangbangers that weren't very successful. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, the easiest way to get out of the gang is to die. I'm just going to point, that's the most common way of getting out of a gang. So, we're not going to do question and answer yet. You can wait. We'll do question and answer in a minute. So hold up. I'm not sure we're going to talk about Turkey, but we'll talk about it. So, yeah, this is actually going to be something really great by starting these dialogues, by starting the conversation with the gang leaders. Now, I understand there's a whole bunch of everyone gets all upset. Oh, the gang leaders just want safer streets to do their drug deals. All right. To be fair, we could say that the let's be honest, the African American gangs in Chicago could be very excited that Donald Trump wants to come in and remove the Latino gangs. I mean, I hate to be brutally honest, but would that not be a good strategy for them? Yes, probably. So everybody has their own agenda and their own strategy. But you know what agenda we need to have? We need to have an agenda of reducing the number of kids shot in this city, of people shot in this city, of children shot, old people being shot in the city. We got to bring that down. You know, who can most affect that is the gang leadership, who, if they say, hey, we're not shooting each other, okay? No beefs. That's what's gonna, that's what worked in the 90s. And you can look it up for yourselves. It had a strong impact on reducing the number of deaths. If we can bring the number of deaths down, that's great. And if Pastor, thank you. And if Pastor, good to see all you guys. If Pastor Daryl Scott could come into the inner cities and bring some hope and bring the number of fatalities down, the number of young people getting shot and shooting each other down, why would anyone negate that? But these little snowflakes do. That's what they do. That's what the left does. That's what they do. They don't care about the problem. They just care about the partisanship. Not the problem, the partisanship. It's sad. It's really, 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 really sad. So, let's talk about, so that's the mega report. We are making America great again. We're going to start with the inner cities. And I'm really excited. I'm Facebook friends with Pastor James Davis, who is works with Pastor Daryl Scott. So I always good job, tell Pastor Scott. We really appreciate it. Hopefully that will go very well. I'm very, 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 very excited about that. So, let's talk a little bit. Mad Dog is off to Seoul, North Korea. We've had some issues already with Kim Jong-un talking a bunch of crap. And it is, I think, totally appropriate that where Secretary Mattis would go first would to be to talk with one of our most pressured allies, South Korea, and certainly where we're certainly significantly and involved for some long period of time. We've been there for a long period of time, and we're very critical to the region. So, yeah, they really have. So, I think it's a great idea. I don't know how much we're going to hear about it because I think Mattis is going to operate as quietly as possible. And what Trump's job is going to be is to keep the press all totally freaked out and ignoring everything that Mattis and everybody else is doing and getting done. Because what we don't want is, the press just freaking out about everything all the time, which is what they're going to do anyway. But as you know, Donald Trump, very good at something I like to call the Trump herring, or deliberately throwing red meat to the media so that they get distracted while you can. It's a great tactic, and I hope we continue to use it to get stuff done in this country. There's so many little things. I keep trying to catch all these moments when you first saluted. I keep trying to see them all, and it's just so hard to keep track. And I'm not. There's no TiVo button that just says every time Trump's on TV, record that. We don't have it, so it's disappointing. Let's do Melania Watch. Melania Watch, where is it? Yeah, Melania Watch. You guys, everyone wants to mess with Melania, and Melania is not having it. So, of course, everyone got all upset. Melania is not going to live in the White House. She's not going to live in the White House. She's living in the White House. Okay? She's moving this summer. As soon as Barron is out of school, they're moving. Just like this is what's so ridiculous. Wow. The message that they said from the absolute beginning, that's what they're going to do. And that's so weird. Why didn't they just tell us that from the beginning? Yeah. So, when they said Melania is going to move to the White House after Barron is out of school, what they meant was Melania is going to move to the White House after Barron was out of school. No, so that's what's going to happen. As was reported by her new Chief of Staff, Stephanie Winston-Wolkoff. Congratulations, Stephanie. And I'm sure you're going to do a great job. And wow, watch out, because bitches be haters on the First Lady. You just got to be careful, girl. Be careful. Yeah, they're so pathetic. So let's do this. We've talked about WhiteHouse.gov. We did talk about that, right? We told everybody, if you want to know about what Donald Trump is doing, you don't have to be mad about it. You don't have to listen to the HuffPost or Fox News. You don't have to listen to Shepard Smith. You can go to WhiteHouse.gov. We talked about that, right? Okay, just making sure. And we talked about the MAGA report. Let's talk about the leftist, where is it? Leftisr Snowflake Meltdown of the week. Because, you know, you guys, these little snowflakes, ooh, they just melting down. They're melting down. Oh, they had to go and protest at the airport. They had to go and protest in front of the Supreme Court with signs about Gorsuch that didn't even have, they just drew a line and then they wrote Gorsuch in as soon as they knew his name because they were there protesting before they actually knew who they were protesting against. So they're just melting down. But they really, 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 really melted down. We're going to give them the award of Snowflake, Leftisr Snowflake Meltdown of the Week. We're going to give that to Berkeley College. Berkeley College, who had a basic campus riot because Milo Yiannopoulos was going to go and speak. Now, the school invited Milo to speak. They invited them to speak. He came to speak, and the anarchists came. They're blaming it on a group called the Black Bloc, BLOC, Black Bloc, BLOC. I'm sure that has some sort of, regime, neo-Nazi, anarchists, whatever, some sort of thing they think they are. Maybe they're Stalinists. I don't know what they are. They don't probably know what they are. They're just, it's ridiculous how fascist and thug boot and brown shirt they are. They just call it brown shirt, but they want to call it. So they wear masks, and they threw rocks and fireworks at police. They injured 6 people. They maced a woman in the face who was while she was doing an interview wearing her "Make America Great Again" hat. Burned a bunch of stuff, broke a bunch of windows. What I don't understand is why there weren't immediate, and we've got to crack down, you guys. We've got to a point where we must crack down on any non-peaceful protest. Peaceful protest, yay. Okay? Oh, I kick over the garbage can. Sir, you're going to have to come with me. And at least we're going to take you out of the situation. We might take you downtown. We might just release you after we've taken you downtown. So, I'm not sure this makes any, whatever. We're gonna. See, the problem is that the media is telling you crazy things. Okay, let's talk about the crazy things the media is telling you. A whole bunch of refugees are being held in. Everybody's in detention. Go throw a rock at somebody. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's not what's happening. People, to be fair, the judges. Let's talk a little bit about the airport protests, because the judges' injunctions are not actually helping your clients. Okay, because now they can't even leave the airport. So they can't go back. They can't leave the airport. They can't be housed elsewhere. They're now forced to stay in the airport because somehow that's going to protect them. What was that movie where the guy can't leave the airport? He just lives in the airport for like 30 years. I feel like maybe you've watched a few too many movies to think that this is the path that's going to work. When the vetting process is through on each of these individuals, they'll get through. If the vetting process cannot be completed, it won't. The reason that these countries are selected, as the Obama administration has selected them, in their statement saying that this is where you cannot get adequate information about, adequate information about the origin of a person, who they are, any identification. We cannot verify these people in this country. This country does not have a system that allows us to verify. So until we have a system where we can verify, we have to, when they come here, do a great deal of work to verify them here, which requires that they're detained in the interim while we're doing that work, while we're figuring out how to figure out who these people are. So we don't just let everybody in who may or may not have ill intent, which is the whole point of having any kind of security whatsoever. There's no... If we're not going to do security at the airport, and we're not going to do security at the border, we're not going to do security. Let's just let everybody come in here and do whatever they want. The whole point of having security is to gather intelligence, to prevent and protect us from various kinds of people who might try to do harm, whether it be people who bring gang violence here, or people who, not that we don't have gang violence here already, but they bring more. Let's be honest. Or people who want to just come and attack America, who want to infiltrate American soil and commit terrorist attacks, which we know obviously are people that's happened many times. So if we don't have security, if we're not vetting the people who are coming here, if we're not whether they walk across the border or fly in, that's what everyone said. Oh, Trump's going to build a wall. It won't work if he doesn't, because people fly in, right? So that's why we have the extreme vetting measure for countries that we have vetting issues with. And then you guys freak out. Oh, it's a Muslim ban. But it's not a Muslim ban. Because there is no religious test. Okay? There's no religious test. Are people asked what their religion is? Maybe. Probably. Because if you are in a religious minority, you're actually more legally likely to get refugee status in this country. That's the refugee law. The refugee law is designed for people who are being persecuted in their home country, and that's why they're coming here. It's not just for anybody who wants to come here. We used to take a lot less refugees in, and it used to have to be a lot more serious problem for you to just come here. And in the last, 5-6 years of the Obama administration, we started a whole new plan, just pouring refugees into the country. Unknown who these people are, why they're coming, any of these things. So we have to vet these people. Maybe many of them are reasonable people that are coming here. Great. It doesn't really make sense to have people in Syria where you should be actually protecting where they're at, or using tent cities in Jordan and Saudi Arabia and areas that are nearby. It doesn't make sense to ship and or fly these people all the way across an ocean to come here. That really doesn't make sense. So I'm not sure why that's a strategy at all. That's a dumb strategy. If anything, what we should be doing is paying our allies there locally to help these people. That makes sense. That makes sense. This doesn't make sense. It looks like the only sense it makes is somebody came up with a strategy to figure out how to get a bunch of people to infiltrate our American cities so that they can wreak havoc. That's the only explanation that makes sense, actually. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you just have them stay near their own country so that when the country gets better, when we fix it, when we finish the war, whatever happens, red lines, whatever we're going to do, when it's done, they can go back without... I don't know what to say. So... wanted to give that award to Berkeley, right? Is that what we said, Berkeley? For burning their own campus so that Milo can't speak. So that a gay Republican can't speak. We got off track there. Gay Republican can't speak. You burned stuff down. Good for you. Snowflakes, you're great. You're doing great. The culture war is making us all a little crazy. Let's do Media Madhouse, you guys. Media Madhouse. The news is all a buzz about Arnold Schwarzenegger, okay? And Donald Trump having a little Twitter war, or a little... Actually, it wasn't a Twitter war because he was in an interview. He was talking at the prayer breakfast, and he made a little quip about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Arnold Schwarzenegger made a little video back. You guys, okay? In public, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, oh, ha, 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 I'm going to make this joke about you. In private, Arnold Schwarzenegger is like, thank you, President Trump, for mentioning my name because my ratings really could use it. This is all just a little media game. One, to distract the media, and two, to help Arnold Schwarzenegger do better with The Apprentice. Okay? If Donald Trump has any interest in The Apprentice and his brand continuing to be successful, and I'm sure helping his friend Arnold Schwarzenegger, you guys think these people aren't all friends and that all of these feuds are all real? This is WWE stuff, you guys. And Donald Trump is doing a brilliant job, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is, I'm sure, very grateful for the writing. But the media won't stop talking about it. Played just like a fox. So, let's do the Trump tweet. What did Trump tweet? I should have done this when we did the Berkeley thing. He wrote, if UC Berkeley does not allow free speech and practices violence on innocent people with a different point of view, dash, all capitals, no federal funds, question mark. Yeah, free speech. These free speech zones things are going to end, you guys. I just want you little snowflakes to start to be aware of this. Free speech zones are going to end. We have a free speech zone. It's called America, okay? It's got that little thing shaped like this, goes like this. There's that little part over here, the little part over here when Puerto Rico and, you know, the territories as well. It's America is a free speech zone. So let's do question and answer. Yes, thank you, Fedical Phil. I do questions at the end. We talked about Mad Dog. We did the Trump tweet. We talked about everything. Let's do question and answer. So what have you guys seen or wondered about since the election, since the inauguration? I was at the inauguration, so I can tell you anything I know. I was in my little area, so I can't be everywhere all the time. But yeah, go ahead. I'll give you a minute to type. And while I do that, have you heard that this is not a commercial for, I'm just having this beverage, this refreshing beverage. But I did want to say that this company, apparently, the Snowflakes think that they support Donald Trump. And so it's just extra refreshing. I've noticed, I always like Dr. Pepper, but when you know that it might be actually triggering a snowflake to drink Dr. Pepper, it actually tastes way better than it did before. So I just wanted to refresh while you guys are thinking of questions and answers. I just wanted to, wet my whistle a little bit. So yes, I was gone for a month. Maybe it was 2 months. It was a little while. We had the election. Thoughts on Judge? I don't see anything to dislike either. And I think that as we all know, we've talked about this. I've always been pro-choice up until a certain point. I actually put it like 4.5 months. And then, of course, I do not support late-term abortions. But even as someone who supported that position, I think he's great. I think what we need is somebody who appreciates the Constitution and the original intent and applies the law. So if people who support women's right to choose want to make that law, they need to make laws. You can't keep depending on the courts. And we certainly have to find a way to make that a law. Now, I also, in no way, I'm with all of my pro-life friends, 1,000% ending all government funding of abortion any time whatsoever. And frankly, I don't think they need to be paying for birth control, all that other stuff either. That people should be taking care of themselves. The government should not be paying for all this stuff. And frankly, I understand that my pro-life friends consider abortion at any point in time murder, and why would you make a person pay for something that they think is murder? It just doesn't make any sense. It's picking a fight. It's picking a fight. If you want to keep the right, if you want to keep the freedom, you don't want to pick a fight over it. You want to actually make your freedom not offensive and painful to other people. That's kind of how the system works. So hopefully, moving forward, we will continue to have more and more on that. And I think Gorsuch is even is a great show because he's not a litmus test kind of guy. He's a law, he's a constitution, he's an experienced kind of guy. I loved his statement he made on when he said that if you're a judge and you're happy with all of your cases, there's something wrong with you. He understands that there is nuance, and I think that he will do very well supporting strict interpretation, and that's what I think is very important. His Scalia-like quality is being very strict, but it doesn't seem as feisty. So maybe it'll be a calmer court, and that might be good. I like him. I think he's going to do well, but I think the Democrats are going to give him hell for no reason. They're going to try to Clarence Thomas him, and we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. So we all notice the new flag. He's very thoughtful, and I like his method of speaking. Very thoughtful, very deliberate. Absolutely correct. I think that's one of the things that is going to be very interesting to watch going forward for someone who's replaced Scalia, who is very feisty, very mellow, very mellow. So new inaugural flag, January 20th. As you can see, I did get a chance to attend the inauguration. Little Trumpy as well did attend the inauguration. We had a great time. Little Trumpy did a wonderful photo tour. We're going to post that up on the Trump Talk website. The inauguration, Brandon, was great. It was if you were anywhere of the inauguration people, yeah, huge love fest. There was only like one, nobody was even mad. Even the protesters, the few protesters we saw on that day, only one was like really a huge jerk. Now if you were getting into security at the parade, there were protesters blocking that and making a big scene. If you were getting off the metro, there were protesters trying to cause a ruckus there. So there were areas where it sucked, and there were areas where I parked, and then you walk. There was just one guy yelling at everybody, telling everybody they were fucking assholes, and yelling. To which I was like, have a good day, dude. Trump's your president. Because I don't know what to tell you. Sorry you're mad. You lost. Oh, so losers. So, actually, what's good? What was frustrating? I want to talk about a little bit of the crowd size, because everyone was all mad about the crowd size thing. That even Donald Trump mentioned it. Whatever. There was obviously something going on with the crowd size, because there's the front areas, and then there's the orange and green areas, and I was in orange area. And there's the orange area on the lawn, and then there's the overflow behind that. And they weren't letting people fill up the whole lawn. There was plenty of room. Everyone could see it, but they weren't letting people fill that up. They were forcing people into the overflow areas and not allowing them to fill up that whole area. People got really upset. There was a whole bunch of people, like when we walked up to the orange gate, there were a whole bunch of people kind of like yelling and trying to you could see that they weren't getting in, and the people guarding that area were totally just kind of like, and the people who were standing there were very, you could tell there was a lot of frustration, but you already were being directed to go to the overflow area, which by the time you got all the way to the overflow area, we're like, what? We're in the overflow area? No, I wanted to go out. And then you walk back, and then you realize, that's what those people wanted too. That's why they're yelling at those people, because they won't let us in. So there was a concerted effort to actually limit people where they were going by some part of the process. I don't know why. I don't know who. I don't know who organized the whole TSA. I don't know who. I don't know what. But I do know that everybody in my orange area and people that were on the green area, they experienced the same thing, was pissed off because if you got there after a certain time, they weren't letting us fill up the lawn. They were literally making us go into overflow far before the area was filled up. So, does crowd size matter? I don't know. Does it matter that somebody was manipulating the situation and not letting us in there? I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened. I'm just telling you there I was, and people couldn't get in, and there was plenty of room, and we wanted to get in, and we couldn't. So make of that what you will. But that's the facts. So absorb it as you need to. Now I will say, if you were in any of the secured areas, it was very safe, protected. There's plenty of law enforcement. There was plenty of Trump supporters. Everyone was just really positive, really supportive. I went around wishing everybody a happy Trump Day. We had a great time. If you were in any of these little areas where it was protesty, it was a little rough. They did break the Starbucks. People shut down the Starbucks all through the city because, Starbucks, they're constantly looking for free press, and they'll do anything to get it. So, I hate to be honest, but they totally will. So, the media made it seem a lot worse than it was. They really played the same garbage fire over and over and over. They really tried to make it look a lot worse than it was, even though there were a great deal of arrests. But the same problem happened. We didn't. There was, protests the night before at the inaugural balls that certainly were completely out of hand. People throwing water and spitting on people in their gowns, trying just to go to events. It's totally unnecessary. But we're not cracking down. See, if on that night, if the first night that had come in, if you threw water at somebody, you're immediately arrested. If you in any way attacked individuals, you're immediately arrested. Because see, protesting is not yelling at other people that you don't know, that you just hate them. Protesting is I have an issue with the government. I have an issue with the government. Protesting is not you're a racist because you voted for a guy I hate. That's not really protesting. That's kind of verbal assault. So, we're going to have to start cracking down on it. And it's so important that we do something about that process, that we start when they cross the line, when they get aggressive, when they get violent, when they break the law. We crack down. We don't. DC took a little while. We have this stand back, let them do a little bit of damage, and then see what happens mode. And it's dangerous. It's how we end up with Berkeley. It's how we end up with all these situations. We need to crack down quickly, and you will prevent property damage and individual injury, which is so important. So hopefully we'll have more of that as we move forward. Let's see if anybody else has any questions. And then we'll wrap it up. I'll give you an idea of so basically we had a great, I wanted to talk a little bit about the next day, the protest. A lot of the protesters were peaceful. Okay. Don't take Madonna's speech as a general indicator. For the most part, a lot of the protesters were peaceful. There's some crazy people. Okay. They had weird signs. It was cardboard vaginas. Great. We drove around. We had the bullhorn. We talked to people in the bullhorn. There's videos online. You'll see on the Facebook. We talked to people online. Yeah, I know. There really should always be more cops, and I think that before there's even a riot, you should. If you just start taking people away as soon as it starts. So, but they want to make the cops be a wall, so it's no good. So we drove around. We trolled the protesters a little bit. But what we found is that there was still a lot of positivity and people getting along and appreciating one another's things. You can find my Facebook page at Suzanne Monk Nation, SUZZANNE Monk MONK Nation the word. So that's the only thing I didn't write down. I wrote down everything else. So you can check it out there. And there was a lot of appreciation. Now, on Sunday, the day after the protest, we drove around. Saturday, we trolled. We saw losers. So losers, we gave them a little business. We were nice. Mostly we just go, Trump's your president, people. It really makes them upset, but we had a good time with it. We told some jokes. People laughed. It was fun. Watch the video. What do you want from me? 2. Yeah, Suzanne, 2 N's. 2 Z's, 2 N's. Suzanne Monk. Yeah. And on Sunday, we went around and we just wished people to have a great American Day. And you can see that video on my Facebook page too. Have a great American Day. In fact, if you just go to trumptalk.us, there's a link to follow me on Facebook. It'll make it a lot easier. trumptalk.us. And then there's a link on that page to follow me. So, oh, that's sweet. There are a lot of good-looking Trump supporters. There's a lot of old, not good-looking Trump supporters too. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna try to pretend that there aren't both. There are totally both. But there's a lot of good-looking Trump supporters. There were a lot of young men in suits at the inauguration. That was so great. Donald Trump is going to affect men's fashion in a very positive way because young men are starting to wear suits again. And ladies, this is a good thing. I just want everyone to know this is a good. Wasn't that awesome, Brandy? You know what I'm talking about. That's a great thing. Classing up the, absolutely classing up the place. That was like probably one of the most encouraging things to just see young men. Now, you know, you wonder how many saggy pants were at Obama's inaugurations. Probably a lot, right? So it makes sense. You know, Trump's a suit guy. A lot of suits, but it was a lot of young men, clean cut, looking good in the suit. So that's, every girl's crazy about a sharp dressed man. Just, the song says it all. So, definitely. So on Sunday, we were out wishing everybody have a great American Day. Both protesters and Trump people, wherever we say, hey, Trump people, hey, protesters, hope you're having a great day. We're Trump people, but we still hope you have a great day. We respect your right to protest. They'll be like, we respect your right to. This one girl, she had a sign that said, a woman's place is anywhere she damn wants to be. And I go, hey, girl, I agree with your sign. She's like, hey. I'm like, I wanted to be in the booth voting for Trump. Do you support that? And she's like this. And so I was like, I support you too, because it's America. There was a whole lot of people realizing it's America. So I just am pointing this out from personal experience because what they're showing us is protesters and pussy head, all of that. We hate them and they hate us, and we're all going to get in big fist fights on the street. What I'm telling you is that's not necessarily true. There is a lot of love still in America, and there's a lot of common dialogue that can still be had. It's going to be a treacherous road because there's also some crazy people who want to burn stuff. I get it. There's also some crazy people who want to destroy you, smear you online, smear your reputation. As you all know, as many of the people who have watched this show know, you know, my small business, I have a small business, a small music store. And that has been experiencing a great deal of attacks, online hate attacks, personal threats. You can actually go and read about it. We put it together a GoFundMe page, not just to raise money, because we're going to raise money because we need to move out of Chicago because it's very dangerous. But two, also just to tell the story, to tell tell the story. If you read through the updates, you can see the hate mail we get. We can see, you know, it'll be an ongoing tale over the next 3 or 4 months of how my business is basically being run out of Chicago. So you can go here, go Facebook, GoFundMe.com, GoFundMe /Music Store Rescue, GoFundMe.com /Music Store Rescue. And of course, this is the website to the show, www.trumptalkus. There's a link to follow me on Facebook and to follow Donald Trump. And at POTUS, Donald Trump has, they really are, Bernie. You know, it's going to be fun to just kind of tell the story. Because, I mean, not fun because it's sad, but fun and like getting it off your chest because it's been months and months of dealing with these crazy people. So, yes, I think that's about it. We're going to try to do a show. I'm not sure about the schedule, you guys. We're getting back on track. You'll find out more on the website. Like I said, www.trumptalkus. There's plenty of blog posts every day. We're going to get into a regular schedule. Right now we're looking at like a weekly, maybe a Sunday, maybe a Saturday, maybe, I don't know. We got to figure it out because what I'm trying to do is simulcast. And that requires both phones be in the house at the same time. So there's technology involved and that kind of thing. But we are back, and you're going to find out all the updates if you go to trumptalk.us. That's where I'm going to keep everybody posted. And, of course, the Facebook page, facebook.com /TrumpTalkUS. You can find us all there. You can email the show, trumptalkus@gmail.com. It's a great place to send your hate mail and all of that. And let's just show everybody this because I love this. Trump, love of America trumps the hate of the left. Yeah, great stuff. So, we're back, everybody. Let's turn this music on. We will be keeping everybody posted, updated, more shows. talking about all of the things that Donald Trump is doing to make America great again. He's done some great progress. We're getting some people through. He signed some great executive orders, the pipeline, the regulation reduction, the hiring freeze. Great. And we're going to keep talking about all of those kind of things. We're going to break it down. We're going to start doing special editions again so that we can talk about exactly what those policies mean, because nobody's talking about what the policies mean. They're always talking about the most sensational aspect of it. So you're welcome, you guys. Good to have you back. Good to be back. And we will we'll see you soon. From me, a little Trumpy.